Hey, and welcome to my channel. And to this series I'd like to start where each episode I choose something from Minecraft to learn about in real life. Now, I am by no means a professional researcher, but I do love learning. I've researched everything myself using different sources and cross-referencing, so grab a cup of tea and get comfy as I teach you some things that I have found. So, in today's video, the very first, we will be looking at the delightful spruce tree. There is no particular reason I chose this as the starting point, but they are definitely one of my favorite trees in Minecraft. When I talk about spruce, this will be covering the standard spruce, the mega spruce, the pine and mega pine trees, since they all come from the same sapling and are made up of the same blocks when broken down. And I think in real life, for most of us, it might be a little difficult to tell the difference between a spruce tree and a pine. I know before researching I would have no idea, and honestly, maybe even after researching, I wouldn't know. They are both evergreen and coniferous trees, but in researching, a fairly consistent rule to follow is that spruce trees have needles that are individually attached to their branches, which firs also have, but I can't dive into that rabbit hole right now, whereas pine trees grow needles in clusters. And even though this has no relevancy to the video, I still wanted to check the ruined nether portal chest, because you don't know what you're gonna get. Spruce trees were added to Minecraft way back in beta 1.2, and they can be found in old growth and standard taigras, snowy plains and taigras, and windswept forests. These trees do not grow branches and have evergreen leaves, meaning they always stay the same lush shade of dark green, no matter the biome. And the dark wood is just great for building. I love adding the little trapdoors and shelves to my builds. They make really nice planters. Outside of Minecraft, spruce trees are natively found in the world's northern hemisphere, and more so in the more northern, colder parts. Think areas like Canada, Alaska, Scandinavia, Russia. These are areas where the taiga biome is more common, which I'm pretty sure the taiga is the largest land biome. If you've ever been around spruce trees in Minecraft, or you've planted 4 in a 2x2 square, you may have come across the block podzol. This is also found in real life, in these biomes, and can cover large stretches of the forest floor. In their habitats, spruce trees provide essential shelter for many birds and small animals, plus a multitude of bugs. There are actually over 30 different species of spruce. All are large, tall trees, with some of the tallest reaching 60 meters, which back in primary school, that was how far our little running track was on sports day, and I still, to this day, use that as a way to visualize the length of things. But what I'm getting at is that they can be tall. Most typically grow in a cone-like form, and they don't have standard leaves but rather needles, which don't change colour nor fall in autumn and winter. Typically, when the days get shorter and colder and there is less daylight, photosynthesis is suboptimal, and many trees shed their leaves to conserve water and nutrients. These are called deciduous trees, trees that lose their leaves on a cycle and grow them again the next spring. Spruce, on the other hand, with their needle-like leaves, are native to wintry conditions and have adapted to them as such. These are hardy trees that grow in harsh environments. As I mentioned earlier, their needle-shaped leaves are individually attached to the branches, using something called a pulvinus, which is a peg-like structure, and it actually stays on the branch even if the needle falls, and they do fall. But again, unlike deciduous trees, spruce and other evergreens are constantly producing new leaves to replace the ones that eventually fall off. Averaging around ½ inch to 1 inch long, the compact shape of the needles allows for increased freeze resistance and the conservation of water within. Whilst there may be some 30-odd varieties of spruce, some of the more recognizable ones are the Colorado blue spruce, the white spruce, and the Norway spruce. Spruce trees are coniferous, meaning they produce cones, like the well-known pine cone. Which again, I don't know why I never questioned this, but I've definitely been calling all cones pine cones, but now I know that they are different. They are also monoecious. Monoecious? I'm not sure. I probably butchered that pronunciation, but this means that the trees have both male and female cones, and reproduction occurs when the wind blows the pollen from the smaller male cones onto the larger female cones. The seeds develop on the female cones underneath the scales before falling, if you ever think you see a Norway spruce, it is identifiable by the cones that hang down from the branches. Spruce trees are also a classic symbol for the festive holidays, although nowadays the association may be stronger with fir trees, but the Christmas tree gifted to the UK each December by Norway to display in Trafalgar Square is in fact a Norway spruce. And it is often mocked for its rather underwhelming presence, but I actually think it's quite sweet. However, I think much of this mockery is due to comparisons being drawn between a similarly festive Norway spruce, this big old boy in New York. The German custom of decorating an evergreen tree for Christmas was introduced into British culture way back in Victorian times, specifically by Queen Victoria's German husband, Albert. Now, as for the origins of why we decorate trees, I truly don't know. In researching, it was a little unclear too. I suppose it's probably for a lot of various reasons, and for different people and their religions and spirituality. Spruce trees have a lot of uses, and it is considered a softwood, but it is used widely in construction, paper making, and for the bodies of primarily stringed instruments. The plated bark of spruce trees can be used for garden mulch, and the resin of some species is used in herbal medicine. Perhaps even surprisingly, spruce trees are used in cuisine. Spruce needles are actually quite high in vitamin C, and they are especially favourable during new growth periods, as the new tips of branches can be eaten right off the tree. Apparently, they can sometimes be bitter, but often have a piney, citrusy flavour. Spruce trees have been used in the past to treat sailors suffering from scurvy because of this vitamin C, but I can't say I've seen spruce tea in the supermarket, unfortunately for me, as I would quite like to try it. Another fun fact is that the oldest believed spruce tree is named, I will put it on the screen because I really don't want to do the disservice of mispronouncing it, and this lives on a mountaintop in Sweden. This is a clonal tree, meaning that the tree that stands today is a clone and is not the original one that stood all those years ago, but rather the root system is. That root system produces new stems every few hundred years, and this system is believed to be almost 10,000 years old, which is just wild to think about. Now, the largest spruce tree, of course this is just believed to be the largest, resides in Washington at Lake Quinault, or Quinault, on the Olympic Peninsula. This is a Sitka spruce, named after the Alaskan city, and it's actually the state tree of Alaska. Like the typical spruce, they can grow in difficult conditions, and they typically grow quite fast. Sitkas prefer damper soil. The largest, I believe unnamed tree, grows in an especially damp area, the Quinault rainforest, standing at 191 feet with a trunk circumference of around 740 inches and a crown spread of 80 feet. This is widely considered the largest spruce and was last measured in 2018. As for my favourite species of spruce, I have to say the colours of the Colorado blue spruce are really nice. Some look almost perpetually frosted, but I think the brewer spruce is just so unique. It is known as the weeping spruce, since the branches droop down similarly to a willow. It's slow growing and not very common, growing at higher altitudes, but I just think it looks really cool. So, that's the spruce, tall and mighty. I hope you have learned something new with me today, be it something related to spruce trees, or that I have some improvements to make in the way of building, if you saw that little cabin I made. When I had the idea to start this series, I thought it would be fun to spawn into a new world and see how long it would take me to find whatever it was I was talking about. But in making this video, it was taking me so long to find a spruce tree. I must have gotten such an unlucky spawn. So now I think I'll stick to just letting myself use the search commands and flying. I also love the idea of making little builds each time, utilizing whatever it is I'm talking about. But yeah, let me know what you would like to learn about next, and if you'd like to like this video and consider subscribing, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.